John Cruz out here with my Lowrance LiveSight first look. This is the first time I've been out here on the water with it. Now, if you watched my installation videos, I had a part 1 and a part 2. Be sure to check out that part 2. Very important to be able to follow the updates to make sure everything is updated properly, your entire system. But after you've done that and you get on the water, there's not a ton of things to adjust. Now, there's a little bit of a learning curve. I've been out here for a little while playing with this, and what I found is that the factory settings, so when you turn that unit on, the factory settings are not far off from what you're going to want to run. There's only a couple adjustments that I made. I'll show you exactly what I did. What you can see is there's a dock right here. You know, this is probably 20 to 30 feet away to where the middle of the dock poles are. But so I'm taking the trolling motor. Remember, this is I've mounted it forward facing. You can either do down or forward facing, but that forward facing has a range. It has a range width, and it also has a range vertically as far as what it's going to be able to look at. So I'm looking right towards that dock, and you can see right there that there's the double pilings. That's the single piling, goes all the way down, and then over here is the double piling. If you look over here, you see the single piling, and then you can see the double pilings over there. And then what you're seeing as I turn it back to the dock, you can see these pilings on the back side of the dock. Now that's between 30 and 40 feet out. That's between 30 and 40 feet out. You can see those 3 pilings, and what you're seeing is that single and then those 2 behind it. That's what you're seeing when you look that direction with the trolling motor pointed that way. To me, that's about your limit. Now, I've been out here in deeper water, playing with it, anywhere from 10 to 60 feet of water. I've been out here playing with it, and it seems like about 40 feet is the length distance that you want. So what I did is I went in here to my menu, and I adjusted the cross range. Now you can set your cross range. If it's on auto, it's going to adjust, and it's going to start out at 70 feet. But to me, about the limit of what I could see was about 40 feet. So I'm going to hit 40 feet. You could probably do 30 if you fish a little closer to the boat. But I did that 40-foot cross range. I left the down range on auto. Right now it's on 30 feet. But the only couple adjustments is it came stock at 89% sensitivity. I bumped that up a little bit. If you're in a real dirty lake that you have very little visibility, you're probably not going to be fishing a lot of deep water anyway, but that's the only time that I would make a real adjustment on your sensitivity. But it comes at 89, and I bumped it up, and then I bumped it back and bumped it up again, and 93 is where I feel like I can see a lot of the little fish. You can see that fish right there is moving, and now it's out of the range. And those are fish that are up under the dock. And there's only 2 other real adjustments that you want to take a look at. You're going to open up your menu and go to advanced. And then there's noise rejection. It comes on low, and then there's surface clarity. It comes on medium. That's where they come. That's what you want to leave them. Noise rejection low, surface clarity medium. I messed around with it a little bit. I felt like that's where I could see the most. And you can definitely see fish on this bad boy pretty easily. Leaving it on that custom mode, and we're just going to let it go back to the full screen that you'll see. But we're going to go take a look at a few other things. But we're just, as you go by this dock, you can really see those pilings, very obvious. And there's a fish between here and the pilings right there under the boat. Now what you're looking at this screen, this is the boat. This is looking forward away from the boat. So you're looking directly under the boat right here. This is 18 feet deep. So you're looking right there at 18 feet, and then you're going out. Now see, you got a fish moving. The little blue trail is the fish moving towards the boat, going under the boat about 10 feet deep. And you can see that plain as day. You can see these other fish hanging out there near that piling. But that's what you get with the LiveSight. Just, it's fascinating. I'm going to turn it back there to it. So you can see that's what the dock looks like, and you can see, you know, for the first 15 feet, first 10 feet, very defined bottom. You can see how hard the bottom is, all that. And then as you get out a little bit further from the 10 to 20 foot range, you can see it starts to get a little fuzzy. Then on out from 20 to 30, it really starts to get fuzzy, and you know, beyond 30 to 40 feet, you're really not going to be able to see much at all. But as you can tell, I'm looking straight forward in front of this dock into the shade. There's a piece of cover, it looks like, right there. I'm going to scan around just a little left. I thought I saw some fish right there. And as you can see, as I get closer to the bank, you can see where the bottom comes in. See, look, there's a fish, because you can see it moving around that little piece of cover. And you can see that fish coming up. That is the really, really cool portion. Now there's a couple more fish. Now we don't know what these are. These could be hybrids or, you know, white bass or whatnot. But these are fish moving around. A lot of these ones that move around away from cover are not bass. They can be, but they're not always bass. Bass usually hang around the cover. So if they come up off of a piece of cover, that could be a sign that that's a bass. That's one little tip. But I'm going to turn and point it right back towards the bank, and you can see it looks more like the bank. Now I'm going to turn the trolling motor out there towards the middle, and then you can see it's gonna flatten out before it comes up on the other side over there. But pretty cool stuff. We're gonna look at some other cover now. All right, now moved over here, and you can see this laydown goes out into the water about, you know, 15 or 20 feet from the end of the trolling motor. There it is. You can see actually it comes all the way out to 10 feet. Now right out here, you're seeing that's the limb, because it's not moving, and you're seeing the limb suspended in the water. And then what you'll see these little blue streaks that come with the fish moving. I'm gonna scan just a little bit in front to see the end of that. It's the end of that laydown right there. And as you can see, I haven't seen anything moving just yet. As you scan around, you should be able to see this is out in front, and you can see these fish moving right there. There's one fish moving up towards the surface there. These are fish suspended out off. This is the edge of the brush. You can see those blue signature marks of where those fish move, and that's what you'll see is right here on this far left hand side, just out from the laydown. You can see those fish moving. Pretty dang awesome, if you ask me. So we're gonna go look at another area, go look at something a little bit different, show you some different views on this LiveSight. Pretty dang awesome. All right, now so we've changed locations, and we're on a long point that runs way out into kind of the middle. We're not up against the bank anymore, but it gets up to, you know, 8 or 10 feet on top of this deal. We're in 18 feet of water right now. If I scan to the left out here in the deeper water, you can see where that whole deal just drops straight off out there. It goes a lot deeper, and then I turn back to the right, you can see that's back up on that long point right there. And you can see, you know, there's fish 20 feet from the boat that was out there suspended. And then you got some more fish out here. You can see them actually moving. Pretty cool deal. And for me, it's a double-edged sword. Being able to see those fish up off the bottom I've never been able to do that other than right under the boat. So being able to see them over there that are up off the bottom, you got to be careful, because you can drive yourself crazy trying to cast to those fish when you don't know if they're bass or not. Now the key, I think, is going to be watching where those fish come from. If those fish are sitting on, looks like the bottom or a piece of cover, and you see a fish come up off of it, that's probably a sign that it's a bass. That's just what I'm guessing. Now, I've not fished, you know, I don't have really any time fishing with this LiveSight, but that's what I'm gonna go into fishing with LiveSight versus never fishing with LiveSight in my life. That's what I'm gonna be looking for pieces of cover. I'm gonna just scan around this point slowly. I'm gonna just kind of scan a little bit more, scan over here. I mean, you can see these fish up in the water column, you know, suspended. I'm guessing those could be brim, could be white bass, could be, you know, smaller shad, bait fish of some sort. But I'm scanning around, and I'm not seeing any sort of big, you know, big cover like a brush pile or anything like that, which is probably going to be what I'll be tuned in more to than all these fish swimming around up in the water column. But again, you can see pretty good out to about between 20 and 30. You can see a few things between 30 and 40. See, there's definitely some fish right there as the boat's rotating around. See some fish under the boat, or some structure potentially. But again, pretty cool deal to be able to actually see all this stuff. It's just a new tool to be able to use when you're out here fishing. And it's just like with anything else, it's going to take time to learn exactly what you're looking at. It's going to take time to learn, you know, how to utilize it when you fish wherever you may fish. It may be something that you don't use when you're fishing in certain lakes or certain areas, but then it is the deal in other ones. And that's kind of what I'm expecting. So for the rest of this year, I'm going to really plan on trying to learn this LiveSight as best I can, so I can hopefully make me a better fisherman. Okay, lastly, people want to know about how far can you see your lure. Now, from what I can tell you, it depends on how deep that you're sitting. So if you're in 20 feet of water, you're going to be able to pick up your bait about 20 feet away from the boat. If you're in 30, pick it up in 30. If you're in 40, pick it up in 40. If you're in 10, you're only going to be able to pick it up about 10 feet away. So you're only going to be able to see that high definition and all those fish movements when you're in that same depth range that you're, you know, is distance to the boat. That's kind of your rule of thumb. You know, if you're going to zing your spy bait out there and watch it sink down and reel it in, if you're in 20 feet of water, you're only going to see it about 20 to 25 feet away. It's where you're going to start picking that up to bring it in. It's one of the things I picked up on this first trip out here. But hopefully you can enjoy your LiveSight and help you catch more fish, just like I think it's going to do for me.